Prototype Atheist here. So I'm here to issue the $100 billion Christian challenge to anybody that can provide empirical evidence in support of your positive claim that God exists, and that this God came to earth in the form of an incarnate deity commonly known as Jesus Christ. I think it's rather ridiculous that there's been people for a long time that have said that gods exist, and yet they're unarmed because they have zero evidence and zero proof. And how would that ever hold up in a court of law? You know, it's funny. I was watching a video made by a creationist the other day, and he told me that he had spoken to an atheist about absolute truth. But nobody ever believes Christians when they claim to have spoken to an atheist and then proceed to ramble on about some nonsensical bullshit that they allegedly said, like when William Lane Craig claimed that an atheist professor from Berkeley told him that the universe began when two particles collided, or when Cat Williams relayed a similar story about an atheist he supposedly met. Of course, even if this video-making creationist did speak to an atheist, he surely goes out of his way to avoid speaking to any who actually know what they're talking about, and this seems to be by design, because if he did, one of them could explain to him about how his attempts to hide God's existence here, in this vast expanse of human ignorance which still exists, with what we know about the universe being encapsulated here in this smaller circle, is nothing more than the classic God of the gaps argument, which asserts God as the cause for natural phenomena which we haven't yet come to an understanding of. Humankind has always done this throughout our history, from considering heavenly bodies like the sun and the moon as being gods themselves, to attributing lightning to Zeus, to believing that humans were molded out of dust. And yet every single time science has found an explanation for such phenomena, it has not corroborated the religious hypothesis, but rather disproved it. Neil deGrasse Tyson stated it best when he said that God is nothing more than an ever-receding pocket of scientific ignorance, because as we learn more about our observable reality, the more evidence we have that removes the need for any God as the agent behind our observations. Another thing this creationist is claiming is that atheists make the positive claim that, based upon our knowledge here, gods do not exist, when in fact the overwhelming majority of atheists are agnostic atheists, meaning they do not claim knowledge about gods existing or not, but rather simply that they do not believe that gods exist based upon our knowledge here. See, this creationist fails to understand that the burden of proof lies with the person making the claim, and he is the one claiming that a God exists, yet wants evidence to refute his claim. This is not how it works. Just think, most people do not believe that Bigfoot exists, yet we aren't tasked with proving that he doesn't. It's up to those claiming that Bigfoot does exist to provide evidence of their claim. A negative claim can never be disproven. Apparently, this creationist is not familiar with Russell's teapot. Now, the problem with truth is that creationists don't like that concept because it means that their belief in one Bronze Age Middle Eastern civilization's creation myth falls apart. And it means they have to stop misrepresenting what atheists believe and where they can derive morality from. Because if you ask this atheist, I will absolutely condemn the Holocaust as one of the most heinous acts in human history. Because this life on Earth is the only one we get. So taking the life of anyone, or causing any harm to them against their will, is easily identifiable as being immoral. Simply based on empathy, of course. If you're a Christian, you just don't believe that the victims of the Holocaust have simply ceased existing, but rather you believe that they are now burning in hell for eternity because they did not believe in the divinity of Jesus Christ. And if you claim otherwise, then you're not owning your beliefs and you're a coward. So do not dare sit here and claim that atheists have no reason for morality and no reason to condemn the Holocaust when you have no leg to stand on. And you can also stop equating the scientific biological theory of evolution by natural selection with the concept of social Darwinism, which proposes that anything goes in human societies because those best able to survive by any means are the fittest. In fact, if you understood human evolution, you'd realize that empathy and altruism increase your chances of survival and reproduction, while greed and mistreatment of others reduce them. So if you're claiming that due to your own anecdotal evidence and personal experiences, which are nothing more than emotional responses to a positive, uplifting message drawn from your minute knowledge here, are evidence not only that a God exists, but that this God is the one described in the Bible, then you simply do not understand what constitutes valid evidence. Plenty of other people have experienced their gods that they believe in and can tell you the same story that you do. The simple fact is that none of these gods exist, but are vestiges of human evolution which refuse to let you accept that we just don't understand some things quite yet. So I challenge you today to be honest with yourself, and to have an honest conversation with an atheist, and ask him or her with a sincere heart if he can help you experience the evidence and logic behind their arguments, because I've experienced that logic and evidence, and I want you to too. so that you can discard your archaic beliefs and ancient superstition and get busy living the one life you actually have instead of wasting it away on the promise of another eternal life after death. So take a moment and help a Christian out by simply clicking like and sharing this video. Maybe this bit of truth will get to them, just like my last video helped to deconvert millions of theists from their religions. So remember that Bigfoot loves you, and have a very, very beautiful day. Dear Mr. Nutritionist, allow me to destroy this box of donuts in 3 minutes.